Hey, Cranium Crew, Club Cranium, CC. Just trying to work out ideas for merch as we go along. Put it down in the comments if you like Cranium Crew or Club Cranium, or and we'll decide. And if you can come up with another name, and if we like it better, I'll give you a free sweatshirt. All right, yesterday I posted, an extended review or my thoughts on the latest Rolling Stones album, a release called Foreign Tongues. It came out on Friday. And, based on that, did you give it a listen on Spotify or whatever platform you use? Did you run out and buy a CD? Are you a Stones fan? Because I touched on this whole hobby. If you go down the audiophile hobby, it was a song or music that turned you on to it. A song or a band grabbed your attention, and you needed gear to play that. So I ended up with two of them. One showed up on Saturday and one showed up this morning, so I don't know if it was a mistake in ordering, but this is the box set, Foreign Tongues, and it comes with, well, here, and I'll show you. So in here, it shows you 14 new Stones tracks. Now, this is a limited edition kit with a Blu-ray audio disc with different mixes on it. It'll do Dolby Atmos, DTS 5.1, in high resolution 2-channel stereo. And that's what I use to listen to it. And then on the cover, this is by Nathaniel Mary Quinn, an American artist. This is a mashup of all the surviving members' faces. And in the vinyl, which I'll post some thoughts on after it arrives tomorrow, I ordered two sets. One was Marvel with Spider-Man, and the other one was just another limited edition. So supposedly in the vinyl, this artwork here, you'll be able to adjust the folds and see each individual face. So we'll look at that another day. But on the back, it talks about the production. And this is Foreign Tongues in different languages and what it looks like in different scripts. Okay, so I'll move this out of the way and we'll go into the box and see what it comes with. So we'll open this up. And I say something in the comments there. If you, when you get something, how much of it do you keep? I kept this that was on the plastic cover, and I was annoyed with myself for ripping it, but that's just the kind of collector I am. So when you get special edition stuff, you get extra things with it. And this is a, poster or postcard of the album cover. Inside, this is interesting. This is a fold-out poster. Now, would you frame this? If you got such a thing, did you frame things when you were a kid or when you were a teenager? I think it's about 18 by 18 inches square, and it's a fold-out poster, and it lists the tracks. So if you got this, would you put it in a frame and hang it up on your wall? Would you scan it and then hang it up, put it on your wall? Go into the comments there, the bleep bloop, as Derek says from Vice Grip Garage. Check him out. He's great. He doesn't need my referral, though. But in here, you'll see this is what the Blu-ray audio came in. So it's the same artwork with the track list. And then it talks about the different audio quality there. One thing you notice here, no, just the track listing. Oh no, there it is at the bottom. Produced by Andrew Watt. I'll spend a minute and talk about Andy. Andy Watt is the latest Wonderkind producer. He produced Ozzy Osbourne's last record. He's worked with Lady Gaga, Paul McCartney, and Elton John. So that's what got Mick Jagger's attention. And when he interviewed him for the job, he was impressed with how energetic he was or is, and worried about if the band would be able to keep up with him. But got on the job. He got the job basically because he was a Stones fan, but he knew every riff, every song, every lick. And being a musician, he figured that the rest of the band, would respect him when he went into going to produce it. And I think some of the feedback has been he makes it too slick, too shiny. An argument was turn the treble down if you wanted a rougher sound. And that's my favorite stuff about the Stones, when it's raw and gritty. But I think in 2026, that's the way they make records. And it's something that we're going to get. And Mick's always about doing the latest trends and keeping up with things. He's not very nostalgic when it comes to making music. Let's continue on. Here, you'll notice this is the jewel case. And I like it. It's got some behind-the-scenes artwork of them in the studio recording stuff. And that's always, fun to see. And then the same thing with track work. And then in here, this is where you'll see the CD. And the Blu-ray jewel case would go in that one for storage. This is my favorite bit in the kit here, is this. And let's say you bought just a CD, you'd open the jewel case and the CD would sit in the tray. This would be on the left-hand side and you'd pull it out. And what this has is the track listing. Oh, finally, there's the Stones logo. And then this just gives you the listing of the tracks and the lyrics. Mick, when he writes a song, he calls them, when he would sing, he'd call them vowel movements to be cheeky. And sometimes you don't quite understand the lyrics, just the way he'll snarl them out. So having this is quite nice to read along with as you give it a listen. There's a story about Linda Ronstadt being with Mick Jagger in the 1970s, so it would have been early 70s, and Mick was saying to her that you do too many slow songs, you need some up-tempo stuff. And she said, well, I like Tumbling Dice, but I can't understand the words. So Mick wrote them all down for her, and she did a great cover of the XL and Main Street classic, Tumbling Dice. And then you've got the rest of the track listing here. I kind of like in the back where they lift the hood and you can see how the sausage gets made. This kind of stuff. I like learning about this. What do you guys think? Is this something that you do and dig into, the details of it? But it explains the 3 surviving members, and then the songs, what the songs are written. And what's interesting is typically all the songs, unless it's a cover song, is written by Mick Jagger and Keith Richards. And on Hackney Diamonds and on this outing, the producer, Andrew Watt, gets some songwriting credit. And then there's also one song that Matt Clifford gets a nod, and he's Mick Jagger's longtime friend and keyboard player, producer, arrangement guy. And you'll see him on tour, stage right, buried at the back. Word is that Keith Richards really just tolerates him. So to see that's quite different. So Andrew Watt, Matt Clifford, and I thought there's one more. Nope, that's it. And it talks about the publishing. And again, when you see all songs produced again by Andy there. So it's I think the trend is going back to producers where they become their own celebrities along with the band. And do you think that's a good idea? I do. So, because I liked his work on Hackney Diamonds and on this. So I went out and, listened to Lady Gaga's album. I gave Paul McCartney's album a listen. I gave a couple of the others a miss. I'm not a big fan of the artists. But here, it talks about where the album was recorded. And a lot of it was mixed in Virginia Beach in the United States, Virginia. It was recorded at Metropolis Studios in London, UK. And this album was recorded over 30 days, 10 of the 14 tracks. And I think the album is better because of it. Typically, bands can take a year, 18 months to get a record out. Because, they don't set a deadline. Someone's in town or, Mick will joke around and say he can't hit middle C. And then he won't come in and do the overdubs. And then someone else doesn't show up. And they're such an established artist, the record label will wait. But here, because I think Andy Watt's in such demand, he goes, all right, I've got a month. Let's go do it. And it puts an immediacy, if that's the right word. It putting a deadline, puts some pressure on the band. And I think it puts some energy in the songs that may or may not be there if there's no rush to do it. So, and I think it was mixed in Virginia Beach strictly due to tax reasons. For Andy Watt, there'd be no reason for him to stay in London because the band, is done recording. And it's an interesting challenge they have. He probably only, the producer only has so many days to work in the UK before he has to pay taxes there. So he can bring the recordings back and mix them in a different studio and closer to home. That might be where he's from. And then it got mastered at a studio in New Jersey. Then it talks about the technicians, and one here, Pierre de Beauport. That's Keith's long-term guitar tech. He's been with him 30 plus years. And then it talks about some things being recorded in LA, another place in LA, another studio in London. I'm guessing that's overdubs, and then the infamous Electric Lady Studios in New York City. And then it talks about all the other people that were involved in recording. They had some guests on these tracks. They had Steve Winwood play some instruments on it. Paul McCartney plays bass on one. Robert Smith from The Cure. I think I've got his name right. If I've got it wrong, a Cure fan, please correct me here. And then Hit Me in the Head here, you'll see Charlie Watts. So it was nice to, hear another track from Charlie. And then it talks about the producers for the band. Joyce Smith there, or Smythe. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. But there you go. Yep, Nathaniel Mary Quinn created the artwork cover. And then there are other people that helped them and the band with it. And what's interesting is that the band itself has its own management, and Keith has his own manager. And I've been blessed to run into her when I've been at concerts in Vegas and New York City, and you'll see her hustling down the street with her little dog. And then all the people they say thanks to, the logo. And then this at the back, again, all the text and fonts. I thought this was kind of not the best thing. I understand why they did it, but I thought they could have come up with something more interesting. What do you think? Is this something that you like or agree with? I think they should have had the Rolling Stones logo, the tongue, and then had this text in it, or a picture of the band, or use this to make up the tongue. Do something in the comments and let everybody else know what you think. Okay, and then, so that's it. That's the latest Stones album. foreign tongues, and a limited edition box set. It has the CD itself, it has a Blu-ray audio disc, and it has this special equipment here. Limited edition stuff, artwork, posters, what have you. What do you think of that? Is this gonna, do you have this recording? Based on what I've said, are you gonna hustle out and buy one or buy the vinyl? So weigh in the comments down there. Now, you know, why Blu-ray audio? Why separate CD? Blu-ray has more space on it to do more mixes on it. And with home theater now, Dolby Atmos is the kind of the new surround sound, where there's all kinds of speakers, and then like sometimes up to 14 of them. So if you have that kind of gear, would you listen to the Blu-ray audio? Would you give it a comparison between that and regular DTS 5.1 surround or 2-channel stereo? I'm not a proponent or a fan of that, because I think surround sound is placement of sound, not caliber or quality of sound. And when the band records, you're not sitting there in the middle of them. They're there recording in front of the mixing desk, and I'm not a big fan of it. It really affects the imaging and sound stage and the experience of it. What do you think? Weigh in on, prove me wrong on Dolby Atmos or 5.1 DTS surround or 2-channel stereo. And that's the way I listen to it. And I'll also, if I want to do a critical listening and really force myself to sit down and listen, I'm going to play it on vinyl. Because with CD players and streaming platforms, you can fast forward over a song, you can rewind a song or play it again. And I think by listening to it on vinyl, it forces you to sit down and listen to it, and with a more critical ear. Is that the same thing for you guys? Weigh in, tell us how you rather listen to things. So yeah, what's coming up? I'm still going to do the long time compare. I know I keep promising this, but we're going to do this one coming up. Look for that end of this week. Those are IEM headphones. These are DACs that you would plug into your phone or your computer. And I'm going to compare this entry-level Kiwi Ears DAC to this higher end Pro one, and with a set of headphones that punch above their weight class. And that's really the meat and potatoes of this channel. I want to show you how to get value price product that sounds better than you'd expect for the amount of money. So look for that soon. All right. If you like this channel, if you like what we're doing here, please consider subscribing and all the other stuff, liking it and getting new video notifications. And I know you hear that from everybody, that you may watch, but subscribing doesn't cost anything. If you like what we're doing, by you subscribing and liking, it gets the YouTube algorithm, and this puts us out in front of more people. And by growing the channel, it will allow me to fund better equipment. Right now, I'm using my own money, folks. I buy this myself. So by having more subscribers, we can get the message out to more people, and we can have fun comparing, higher end or equipment that may cost a few more dollars than this. And dental surgery, and I'm struggling with the odd bit here. So yeah, if you like what we're doing here, consider giving us a a subscribe and a like, and hit the notification bell. It's Monday where I've recorded this, so if it's Monday where you are, happy Monday, or whatever day that you're in. And I appreciate all the support. I want to get better at this all the time, and I want to have a lot of fun here. I want it to be fun for everybody. So I'll just wrap this up here. I hope you had some fun looking at this kind of stuff, and I'll read all the comments and we'll weigh in on our thoughts. Okay, cheers everybody.